at the future of mental health, what is the connection between traditional or alternative therapies and neurotechnology?
I just think there's a place for all of them. As I said, to me, traditional therapy is talk therapy. And when I first started going to talk therapy, I found, and it could have been the particular therapist, but to me, the story just got louder in my mind. So I didn't feel like the images changed or the way I held a memory changed or the way I felt about it. It was something that was in the very back of my mind and I just got on with my life. But by going to therapy, it became very front and center, if that makes sense. It wasn't until I found EFT or emotional freedom technique that I really started feeling a significant change. And I would classify that as alternative therapy. And whether that's, there's a whole list of modalities, whether it's kinesiology or some people might even classify acupuncture, EMDR. But when I did EFT, I just felt a significant shift I had very specific memories that I wanted to work on and how those memories made me feel. And after, I can't even remember actually how many sessions, because I was training as a practitioner, I had quite a few sessions. I remember being able to look at the memory in my mind and it having no emotional impact on me. I didn't feel any of the emotions that I'd felt previously, and I wasn't emotionally detached. It was just I had processed all of the emotion that was associated with that image in my mind. And then part of the technique with EFT, you can also re-imprint a new memory. So like, why have a memory or a picture in your mind that's going to make you feel pretty terrible when sometimes for me, those specific memories, I could see myself in those memories. So it's like, well, how did you take a picture of yourself in this event or this situation? So on some level, you've made that picture up to support the story of what happened. And I was like, well, if I've made the picture up, why don't I make up a different picture and one that actually makes me feel better? So I made a different picture up that made me feel bloody awesome, actually. So, but that's not saying I can't think or access. I can still see it, but it's very distant. It had zero impact on me, unlike what it had previously. I think it was always there in the back of my head. I just avoided it. But yeah, traditional therapy initially for me, I just found it didn't work as well as I wanted it to. But I did go back to it then later, and I found as well EMDR has been fantastic for trauma for me. I tried it because it's very like EFT from the point of view of the singing or there's tapping, the eye movements. There can be some eye rolling in EFT. So there are a lot of similarities, but it was really good to try that modality again on very key memories that I had. And it was almost like a double checking for me. Let's just make sure there's absolutely nothing left, that there's no trigger, there's no emotional response, that I've truly processed every piece of that onion layer.
Thank you so much. So do you think there are benefits or any differences between these three modalities?
Oh, I definitely think there are. I think every person is unique, and I think a person's journey to healing is going to be very individual to them, what works for them. So some people may start in an alternative route. They may go to a kinesiology session and really enjoy that, and that may start the journey for them because that's probably more gentle than actually verbally talking. Maybe they go to a session where their body does the talking and their body tells them rather than they're the one saying what's going on. So I've done a lot of somatic style work where my body is clearly telling me that there's trauma, but I don't actually have to verbalize it. And so I think there's a time and space for traditional where it's a lot of mind, alternative, which can be mind, body, spirit. And then the technology, I feel, is mind and body. And maybe you'd have a spiritual experience if you've done enough sessions on it. So yes, I do feel there's a time and a place, but every single person is unique and everyone has their own capacity of how much or how little they want to do and how they want to explore their trauma and process that trauma. And it could be it's too difficult to verbalize, and somatic work or body work is the way to do it initially, and just allow your body to release that trauma. And then once you've gotten to a certain point you may then have the courage and the confidence to start verbalizing. So maybe traditional talk therapy or something like EFT, or maybe it's hypnotherapy because maybe you don't really know what actually happened, or you've suppressed those memories, and maybe it's about uncovering what's actually happened.
Thank you for that brilliant answer. So how advantageous is brain balancing for a survivor who abuses substance as a coping mechanism?
So I think, as I mentioned earlier, if you are addicted, you can clearly see in an EED that your brain is out of balance, and that judgment center would be significantly smaller. So if you've had lots of therapy in relation to your drug of choice and potentially the traumas or whatever it is that's actually supporting that addiction to be there, there's still, and I worked at a rehabilitation in Hawaii called Habilitat. And it's a 3-year program, and 85% of their residents are transferred from the prison system for drug-related offences. And they have a very high success rate, like 68% or something, and it could have gone up since I was there. But they had us come, a bunch of EFT practitioners, to just work on their addicted feeling. Because even if they were there 3 years in the program, they're at the end of their program, they could still access a 10 out of 10, I want that drug, whatever that may be. So I think that's a missing piece. And my partner in the US who uses this brain balancing technology, she said she saw time and time again people coming to her rehabilitation or her retreat, and they would do all these amazing therapies, but there was a certain proportion of them that would relapse. And it wasn't until she introduced this brain balancing technology that things really changed, and they had this 85% success rate because people were then able to just make better decisions, and they had more judgment, and they lost that massive impulsivity, and it just rebalanced them, so they were more likely to succeed.
Wow, that's really great. That's good. And it's quite new, so wow. I think they need to do it across the board in all countries.
Well, I think I would love my goal is to set this up, and then let's just see what happens from there, because we are only going to be catering to 6 people initially, doing very tailored programs, and really, like I said, just trying to give them the life skills, the tools, a very comprehensive aftercare support service, so that we can reconnect them to their inner power that they have to heal themselves. Because we all have the answers, and we have the power to heal ourselves. And I think we'll only be dealing with a small group of people, but watch this space. The goal would be ideally to be able to help more and more people, and spread hopefully the work and the especially the work that we will be doing with this technology, because like I said, it's not available anywhere else in the world. So I'm very, very excited about the results that we're going to be able to get.
That's really wonderful.
You can connect with me by my website, www.freedom4betterlife.com, and by my social media handle, Rising Above Shadows of Abuse, for Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and you can email me at risingaboveshadowsofabuse